What's happening, people? This is your boy IB here, and today we're going to end the argument, what is the best MixCube speaker? I have with me today the best three MixCube speakers that everyone mainly talks about. Obviously I've got the Auratone, I've got the Avantone, and I also have the Behritone, which as far as I know is pretty much like a copycat of the other two. Now, this day and age, it's getting more and more important when doing your mixing and your mastering that your songs will translate onto mobile phones and mobile speakers that everyone uses to play on their Spotify or whatever these days. So now it's become even more important to utilize little MixCubes like this to get your mixes right sounding on those platforms. So without further ado, let's dig in. Okay, back to basics. So to make this test as simple and as fair as possible, I'm going to use the same track by one of the best drum and bass producers out there, Noisier. I'm going to use their exclusive track, Into Dust and the Neon Light remix. So I'm going to put that into Ableton, run it on mono, and then go from there and see what we get. Right, let's go. Okay, so we're going to do a quick benchmark test on the HS8s. I'll do a mono play and then a full stereo play so you can see the sound difference, which is quite noticeable. Okay, then we move on to the MixCubes, starting with the Auratone, which is actually a passive speaker which comes with its own dedicated amplifier, and this is the Super Sound 5C series. Move on to the Avantone, which is an active speaker with its own built-in amplifier, and the same with the Behritone up here. Okay, now for the mono with the HS8s, here we go. So here you can see, even with Noisier's top production skills, even switching from stereo to mono has quite an effect. So straight away you've lost quite a bit of depth and you've lost the space. So just goes to show. So just from that you can already tell how much depth and space you've lost from switching from stereo to mono, and this is Noisier we're talking about. So, you know, they've mixed and mastered this to the best you could possibly do. So this is as good as it gets. Okay, up next we've got the Auratones in mono, of course. Here we go. Wow, what a difference. You can there's such a massive difference between the HS8s and the Auratones, but obviously that is a tiny single driver with no tweeter or bass driver. That is purely a mid cone drive and all that. But all that said, that's still not too bad. I'm not going to say anything for now, but that's the mono. Let's move on to the next test. Just for good measure, I'm going to do a stereo test because I do actually have two of them. I have two of each. So here we go. So just to point out that this is a fair test, I am actually running 2 microphones. So I've got one on the desk and I've also got one on me. So you have stereo recording. So I know some of you will be listening on your headphones, your AirPods, or just on your phone speakers. So hopefully you can still just about make out the differences between all the speakers that we're testing today. Okay, let's go. Okay, next up we've got the Avatones in mono. Let's do it. Not bad, not bad. Let's see what they sound like in stereo. Okay, this time in stereo. Yeah, you can tell a little bit of a difference. Okay, the last contender, we have the Behritone in mono. Let's go. Okay, finally, just for comparison, we're going to do the 2 in stereo. Here we go. And that's all of them. Okay, so just before I give my verdict, I just want to say that all these speakers have been thoroughly running. So they're not brand new, straight out of the box and rigid cones and all that. They have been, I've had these for a while and I've been testing them, making sure they're well running because I wanted to pick the best ones. And on the internet, there was no clear answer. Some people say these are the better ones. And honestly, I couldn't find the right answer. So before I get to the verdict, I just want to say that I've had these speakers for a while now that I've been running in and testing. So they're not brand new, straight out of the box with rigid speakers. They have been thoroughly bedded in. So without further ado, I'm going to pick my winner and I'll tell you why. Not surprisingly or shockingly to me, I thought this would be the winner, and it is. It's the Auratone Super Sound 5C. This just has the perfect balance of everything. It's got nothing's too harsh. Everything's just, I think it's just right. As MixCubes go, you're not going to get better than this. This is, if you can find one of these, and they're hard to get now on the market, I have to admit, but if you can grab one, grab it and keep it, because this will come in handy at some point in your production career. So number 1, the Auratone. Shockingly enough for me, and I'm surprised I'm going to say this, number 2, the Behritone. The Behritone C50A. See that? It actually was better than the Avantone. It was just a little bit less distorted and not as harsh on the high ends, which I thought this was going to be in the first place. When I started using these first off, this was by far my least favourite, but over time I'm guessing it's bedded in, and bearing in mind, like, I've used these equally each to make sure they've all had the same amount of time. I would say if you're looking for a MixCube and you're on a budget, bearing in mind that even these are hard to get hold of now. I haven't actually seen these on the market for a while. People do still sell them, but these are the cheaper versions, even though these are actually getting quite expensive now. But I'd say if you can't get Auratone and you can only get one of these are good enough. I would just, something the way you do like a switch on for like 10-15 minutes, then switch back to normal speakers, do some tweaks, and then switch back to this. I think with the Auratones, you could probably do like a whole session with these, fine. But I'd probably just go back and check with these if you're using these as well, because it's not completely fully balanced, and I think there is some frequencies that this comes out with that shouldn't be, especially in the high end. And then lastly, yeah, the Avantone, which I'm really surprised because these are the most expensive speakers out of the three. Ridiculous money, and I honestly thought that these would be the best ones, or if not at least second, but these are just way too harsh on the top end. Super high, like, don't know, it seems to amplify the top end even more than anything else. It's really unusual, and I'm not sure why. So yeah, I mean, if you was to use these for mixing your songs for Spotify and stuff, I think you probably end up with like no bass and way too much highs. I mean, obviously, you know, people get used to these speakers so you can make adjustments and stuff, but at this stage in my life, like, I don't want to be doing that. I just want to use stuff that works. So unfortunately, Avantone is the loser. Shocking. So anyway, I hope that has been helpful. This is the final verdict, and it's not just been a quick flyby. Like, I've had these speakers for a long time, and I wanted to do a thorough test, and they have been thoroughly tested. I've had these for probably a year, to be honest with you. I wanted to do the review quicker, but I've just been too busy. But yeah, there you go. Auratone number 1, Behritone number 2, and Avantone in last place. Crazy, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you like, comment, tell me your opinions if you disagree with me, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Catch you later. Peace.